The alert klaxons cut through the calm of Earth Command like a jagged knife. Captain Mara Kellen's boots struck the metal floor in a sharp rhythm as she stormed into the briefing room. Holographic screens flickered with the latest intelligence, ships converging on the Sol system, energy signatures unfamiliar, movements precise. The council was already gathered, their faces taut with controlled panic. A senior diplomat, gray-haired and trembling, spoke first. "Captain Kellen, we have confirmation. The Zereth fleet is approaching. Estimates place them within 10 standard hours of orbiting Mars. They've marked Earth as a target." Mara's eyes didn't leave the hologram. She had faced impossible odds before, but the calm in her mind belied the storm outside. "Marked us? They don't know humans," she said, her voice low, sharp. "They've never seen what we can do." "Captain," interjected General Ryl, Earth's chief of defense. "We're talking tens of thousands of ships. Their firepower alone." Mara cut him off. "Numbers aren't everything. Predictability is. And humans aren't predictable." Her words drew skeptical glances, but the council had no alternative. Panic was contagious, but courage, she knew, had to be deliberate. Mara strode to the central console, her fingers flying over the interface. Lines of code, intercepted communications, encrypted transmissions, all were examined with surgical precision. And then she found it. A single message, encrypted in a frequency no one had catalogued, appeared. One line of text. "Earth's potential underestimated. Beware the unforeseen." The council murmured, confusion spreading like wildfire. "What is it?" demanded the diplomat. "Not entirely sure yet," Mara replied. "But it's a warning, and not from them." She tapped the screen, enlarging the message. "This isn't Zereth. Someone, or something, else is watching. And it's giving us a heads up. Do you trust it?" General Ryl asked, suspicion cutting through his voice. "Could be a trap." "Everything could be a trap," Mara said. "But waiting to find out will get us killed. I need a decoding team immediately. Bring in the top analysts. No one else touches this." Minutes later, Dr. Leora Venn, a cryptography specialist, and her team were in place. Screens glowed with lines of alien code. The room was tense, silent except for the low hum of processors. "I've never seen anything like this," Leora admitted. Her fingers danced over the holographic keyboard. "It's a hybrid code, part Zereth, part something else entirely. Whoever sent it doesn't want us to understand them fully, but they want us to survive long enough to figure it out." Mara leaned over her shoulder. "Then let's get to it." As the team worked, Earth's orbital sensors picked up movement. Small, probe-like ships skimming past Mars's orbit. They were fast, maneuverable, and silent, ghosts in the void. Mara didn't flinch. "They're scouting. Let them. Every move they make tells us more." One of the junior officers spoke up, nervous. "Captain, should we deploy fighters?" Mara's gaze swept the room. "Not yet. We wait. A mistake now and the Zereth will know exactly what we're capable of. Patience, people. Calculated action wins wars, not panic." Outside the briefing room, Earth City sparkled, unaware of the storm approaching. Orbiting defense platforms hummed with quiet readiness. Humanity had built these defenses not for themselves, but to prove that they could. Mara smiled grimly. It was never enough to survive, only to make the enemy hesitate. Hours passed. The decoding team made incremental progress. Fragments of the message emerged, hints of a secret within the Zereth command structure, something exploitable, something humans could turn into leverage. Mara's mind raced. "If this is true," she muttered, "we're not just fighting to survive. We could be the first humans the Zereth actually fear." Her assistant, Lieutenant Kale, leaned in. "Do you think they'll underestimate us, Captain?" Mara's eyes glinted. "They already have. An underestimation is exactly what we need." The room's tension shifted slightly, from fear to a spark of possibility. For the first time, some of the council members exchanged hopeful glances. Humans, Mara thought, thrived where others predicted their failure. Their ingenuity was chaos incarnate to a species like the Zirith, who valued order and precision above all else. Suddenly, the message fully decrypted. Lines of code revealed coordinates, timings, and, most disturbingly, a warning of a potential ambush near Jupiter's orbit. The Zirith intended to strike where humanity's defenses were weakest. But there was more, a note, almost casual in tone, embedded in the data stream. Do not rely on them alone. Allies may be found where least expected. Mara froze. She read it again, heart hammering. Someone, or some group, was reaching out to humans in secret, offering a lifeline. But trust, she knew, came at a cost. One misstep and Earth wouldn't just fall, it would vanish. She turned to the Council. We have a choice. Panic, delay, or act. Acting means preparing for the incoming fleet, yes, but also deciding whether to follow this invitation. Either way, the clock is running. A young strategist, pale and sweating, whispered, If this message is a trap, we're doomed. Mara's reply was cold, precise. If we do nothing, we are doomed. If we act, we might just remind the galaxy why humans aren't to be taken lightly. The Council fell silent. Outside, the first glimmers of the Zirith fleet appeared on sensors, a dark, rolling shadow against the stars. Mara's jaw set. Prepare the squadrons, she ordered. Prepare the civilians. And secure the message. Everything we do from this moment forward decides whether humans survive, or whether Earth becomes a footnote in galactic history. She paused, eyes scanning the room. We don't survive by hiding. We survive by being unpredictable. By being human. The alarm siren sounded again, higher, sharper. Mara straightened, fingers brushing the console. The first battle was only hours away. And humanity, for all its flaws, was about to make a statement the galaxy would never forget. The Sol system trembled under the shadow of the approaching fleet. Sensors picked up the Zirith Armada in formation, tens of thousands of ships glinting like obsidian shards against the void. The patrol satellites around Mars relayed their patterns, deliberate, almost ceremonial in their precision. They were confident, unchallenged, and utterly unaware of what humans were capable of. Captain Mara Kellen stood on the bridge of the ardent horizon, her flagship. Her squadron's pilots lined up in readiness, faces taut with anticipation, fingers brushing the controls. Mara scanned the fleet layout on the holographic map. They think this is intimidation, she said softly. We'll show them it's miscalculation. Lieutenant Kale, her second in command, leaned in, eyes wide. Captain, their numbers, they're overwhelming. How do we even begin to counter this? Mara's smile was brief, sharp. By doing what humans do best, ignoring what's impossible. The first contact came without ceremony. The Zirith fired a warning volley near Jupiter's orbit, obliterating a mining colony in a flash of white fire. Mara's stomach tightened, but she didn't flinch. They want a reaction. Let's give them one they didn't anticipate. Squadron Alpha, engage. Her voice cut through the comms like a blade. Follow my lead, but no one mirrors the enemy's moves. Think different. The pilots obeyed, swerving in unconventional patterns. Instead of linear formations, they broke into unpredictable swirls, weaving through asteroid fields with reckless precision. Missiles fired by the Zirith were deflected or destroyed by unconventional human maneuvers. The enemy faltered, their formation disrupted, not by superior firepower, but by audacity. Mara's tactical mind raced. Every movement, every evasive maneuver fed data back into the ship's systems. She noticed a pattern. The Zirith over-relied on predictability. Where they expected repetition, humans innovated. Where they sought patterns, humans created chaos. Target their command frigate, she ordered, fingers flying over the control console. If we can disrupt the chain of command, we can level the playing field. The strike was risky. Mara led a small contingent through a narrow asteroid corridor, dodging debris and plasma fire. The Zirith frigate loomed ahead, shielded and bristling with weapons. Mara felt the familiar pulse of adrenaline. She relished the tension. On my mark, she muttered. The squadron fired in perfect coordination, missiles veering in arcs calculated to exploit the frigate's blind spots. A series of explosions rocked the ship. The Zirith flagship staggered in the void. Mara allowed herself a brief smile. On the bridge, her sensors detected an incoming message, not Zirith, but direct holographic projection. Lord Zirak himself materialized, towering in dark armor, eyes like molten gold. His voice carried an unnatural resonance, amplified across space calms. Captain Mara Kellen, he intoned, every word precise, deliberate. You dare to defy the inevitable. Your species is insignificant. Surrender Earth and save what remains of your kind. Resistance is pointless. Mara's jaw tightened. She stepped forward, voice steady. Insignificant? Maybe. Predictable? Never. You may control fleets, but you don't understand humans. Chaos isn't a bug, it's our advantage. Zirak's eyes narrowed, a flicker of irritation crossing his alien features. Your hubris will be your end. You will learn the cost of defiance. She smirked. Maybe. Or maybe you'll learn the cost of underestimating us. The hologram vanished, leaving a ripple of tension across the bridge. Mara turned to her officers. The Council didn't need to see that. But they will. Make sure all squadrons are ready. We've got them where we want, confused, cautious. Don't give them a chance to recover. Amid the chaos, the decrypted message pulsed on her console. Leora Ven's team had made breakthroughs. Coordinates pointed to a hidden Zirith command relay near Saturn's rings. It wasn't a trap. It was a potential weakness, one that could shift the balance of this engagement. Mara's mind raced. This is bigger than just survival, she muttered. We might actually have a chance to strike where it hurts the most. Kale frowned. You're suggesting a direct attack on their command relay? That's deep inside enemy territory. The risk, Mara interrupted, eyes cold, is what defines us. If we hide behind calculations and fear, Earth is already lost. We strike, or we wait to be erased. The first human casualties occurred almost immediately. A squadron of scouts was shredded by a surprise ambush near the asteroid belt. Mara grimaced at the feeds, noting every tactical error, every Zirith move. She absorbed it all: pain, loss, strategy. In every misstep, there was a lesson, and humans excelled at learning fast. Divert auxiliary drones to cover civilian evacuation routes, Mara ordered. We fight to protect everyone, not just ourselves. Every colony we lose is fuel for their arrogance. The battle raged across the solar system, a dance of light, metal, and fire. But the human element, creativity, improvisation, daring, kept Earth alive. The Zirith were powerful, precise, terrifying. Yet, for the first time in this conflict, they hesitated. Mara's comms crackled. Leora's voice came through, urgent. Captain, we've deciphered the final portion of the message. It's not just a warning, it's instructions. Coordinates, timings, even suggested maneuvers. Someone is helping us without being seen. They want humanity to survive long enough to fight back. Mara's heart skipped. Allies in the shadows. Unknown, but deliberate. She had no time for questions. Good. Use it. Every unit that can move moves. Let's show them humans don't just react, we innovate. Hours passed in a blur of maneuvers, counterstrikes, and narrow escapes. Every human squadron, every improvised tactic, chipped away at the Zirith advantage. By the time the first light of Sol shone across Earth's surface, the enemy fleet had been disrupted but not destroyed. Mara stared out at the holographic projection of the battlefield. They underestimated us, she said softly. And they'll pay for it next time. But this is only the beginning. Kale, standing behind her, nodded. What now, Captain? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she studied the decrypted message again, the coordinates blinking insistently. No, she said finally, voice low and resolute. We follow the trail. Whoever sent this, they know something the Zirith don't. And I intend to find out what it is. The battle had ended for now, but the war, and the secret that could turn it, had only just begun. Humans had survived the first contact, not through sheer numbers or firepower, but through ingenuity, unpredictability, and the relentless courage that no alien mind could anticipate. And Mara Kellen, as always, was ready to lead the charge. The aftermath of the first engagement left Earth on edge. Orbital defenses were intact but strained, civilian evacuations had begun in earnest, and every major city was on heightened alert. Mara Kellen stood on the bridge of the Arden horizon, reviewing the battle feeds. Every destroyed Zerith ship, every clever maneuver by her pilots, was a testament to human adaptability. Yet beneath that triumph, a shadow lingered. "Captain," Lieutenant Kale said, frowning at the console, "our intelligence team flagged an anomaly. Some communications within Earth Command aren't aligning. Certain encrypted messages are bypassing central channels." Mara's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Kale hesitated. "Someone inside is rerouting our decoded messages. It's subtle, but deliberate. They're feeding data to, we're not sure." Mara's jaw tightened. Betrayal was not unknown to her. Humanity's courage often came with ambition, jealousy, or fear, but timing mattered. The Zerith were still out there, and now the threat was internal. "Assemble a discreet investigation team," she ordered. "We find them before they hand anything to the enemy." Meanwhile, the decrypted message pulsed on her console, coordinates blinking insistently. Whoever had sent it had predicted human ingenuity, but also anticipated internal weakness. Mara studied it again, realizing that the message's real purpose wasn't just strategy. It was a test of leadership, of trust, of humanity's resolve. Hours later, the investigation revealed the first crack. Ambassador Reth, a senior council member, had been feeding fragments of the message to a neutral faction, claiming it was a safeguard against human arrogance. Mara didn't hesitate. She confronted him in the council chambers, her boots echoing on the polished floor. "Ambassador," she said, voice cold as ice, "explain why sensitive intelligence was sent outside Earth Command." Reth straightened, attempting composure. "Captain, I don't. This is not about protocol. This is about survival. Every word you leaked could have cost lives," he stammered. "I thought." "You thought wrong," Mara snapped. "Humans survive by trust, by action, by ingenuity. Not by fear of failure. You jeopardized everything." The council fell silent. Some looked away, others whispered. Mara didn't flinch. Leadership, she knew, demanded accountability, not comfort. As Reth was escorted away, Mara turned back to the message. Leora Ven's team had cracked deeper layers of the code. Hidden within were more than coordinates. They were warnings of potential Zerith traps, predictions of fleet movements, and hints of a galactic faction watching Earth from the shadows. "Captain," Leora said, voice tense, "this isn't just intelligence. Whoever sent this, maybe another alien faction, they know the Zerith. They're guiding us. And they're asking us to act, to strike." Mara studied the data, the realization dawning. The message wasn't merely a lifeline, it was a directive. It implied that the Zerith feared humans, but not because of brute strength. They feared unpredictability, ingenuity, creativity. Humans were the anomaly, and that anomaly could change the course of the war. Kale broke the silence. "If we follow this, we risk everything. But if we don't, then Earth dies," Mara finished. "We act. We don't wait. And we make sure every move counts." The next day, the Zerith struck again, targeting a civilian colony near the asteroid belt. Mara's fleet intercepted just in time, but losses were significant. Pilots screamed through comms, evading plasma blasts and swerving around exploding debris. Mara directed every squadron like a conductor of chaos, exploiting the Zeritha's overconfidence. "Alpha Squadron, cover Beta's flank," she shouted. "Nova fighters, distract the frigates near the belt. We can't afford to lose civilians." Through it all, the decrypted message pulsed insistently, coordinates guiding her maneuvers. With every calculated risk, Mara realized the human advantage. The enemy expected repetition, but humans defied it. Later, in the aftermath of the skirmish, Mara gathered her officers. "The message reveals something else," she said quietly. "It's not just strategy, it's the Ziritha's fear laid bare. They fear us because we think differently. We don't follow the rules they impose. We improvise. We survive." Kale's eyes widened. "So, all this time, we're fighting in their blind spot?" Mara nodded. "Exactly. And if we exploit it, we don't just defend Earth, we force them to rethink every assumption about humanity." But the revelation was bittersweet. Internal betrayal had shaken the Council, and every decision carried weight. Mara knew that one misstep could undo all their progress. She couldn't trust blindly, yet she also couldn't hesitate. Humans thrived under pressure, but only if guided by courage and clarity. Then came the turning point. Mara accessed the segment of the message that had been overlooked, buried in layers of code. It was a single sentence, simple yet profound. "Do not strike blindly. Strike where unpredictability becomes certainty. Strike where they cannot anticipate the human mind." She smiled grimly. "They want us to hit their command directly. Deep inside their network. That's their weakness, their reliance on control. We exploit chaos. We turn fear into advantage." Leora looked concerned. "Captain, it's a suicide run. Even the best pilots won't survive unscathed." "Maybe," Mara admitted. "But humans never play safe. That's why we're unpredictable. That's why the Zirith will never see us coming." As the fleet prepared for the next phase, Mara sent a cryptic counter-message directly to the Zirith command, testing their reaction. The reply was immediate, terse, and filled with growing frustration. "Your audacity will be your end, Captain Kellen." Mara allowed herself a thin smile. Audacity, ingenuity, courage, the qualities no alien mind could fully grasp, were her weapons. And they were enough to give humanity a fighting chance. The bridge was tense, but alive with anticipation. Mara studied the tactical maps, every movement, every Zirith formation. She knew the next encounter would be decisive. Betrayal, loss, and revelation had shaped them, but now the humans were ready to strike where it mattered most. "Prepare the fleet," she commanded. "We follow the message. We hit them where they least expect it. And we remind the galaxy why humans are not to be underestimated." The first stars of distant systems reflected in her eyes as she gazed into the void. The Zirith were powerful, precise, and ruthless, but they hadn't accounted for one thing: the unpredictability of humanity. And that unpredictability, Mara thought, was about to become a weapon unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. The void of space was a canvas of darkness pierced by the distant shimmer of stars, and the approaching Zirith command fleet. Mara Kellen stood on the bridge of the ardent horizon, eyes locked on the holographic map. Every sensor, every feed, every anomaly was analyzed with meticulous precision. Today, survival wasn't enough. Today, humanity would make a statement. "Captain, our squadrons are in position," Lieutenant Kale reported. "All auxiliary drones deployed. Civilian evacuation corridors secured." "Good," Mara said, voice calm, though adrenaline thrummed through her veins. "We're not just defending Earth. We're striking at the heart of their command. Predictability is their weakness. Let's exploit it." Her fleet formed unconventional patterns, weaving through asteroid fields and planetary rings. Every maneuver was calculated to be unexpected. Missiles fired preemptively by the Zirith were intercepted by drones or diverted by improvised decoys. For every standard tactic they employed, humans responded with something unpredictable, chaotic brilliance that no alien mind could anticipate. Mara's fingers danced over the control interface. She selected the strike team, a small contingent of elite pilots willing to follow her into the enemy's core. The coordinates, derived from the decrypted message, pinpointed the Zirith command relay hidden near Saturn's rings. "This is it," she said softly, almost to herself. "Their nerve center. One shot, and we disrupt everything." Kale's voice trembled slightly over comms. "Captain, This is deep inside enemy territory. Casualties will be acceptable, Mara interrupted firmly. If we hesitate, the entire system falls. We improvise, we adapt, and we survive. That's what it means to be human. The squadron plunged into the shadows of Saturn's rings, dodging massive ice chunks and bristling energy turrets. Mara's tactical brilliance was on full display, guiding her team with split-second decisions. One wrong move meant annihilation, but hesitation was not an option. As they approached the relay, Zereth frigates emerged, blocking the path. Mara smiled grimly. They expect fear. They expect hesitation. Give them either. Her squadron split, creating unpredictable vectors of attack. Missiles veered in arcs that defied logic, energy pulses flashed unpredictably, and human fighters weaved through the chaos like living predators. The Zereth scrambled, their precise calculations rendered useless. Suddenly, Mara's console flickered. Holographic images of Lord Zirak appeared, rage etched across his alien features. Captain Kellen! Your arrogance blinds you. You cannot comprehend the forces arrayed against you. Mara leaned forward, voice steady. I comprehend enough to know you fear us. You fear what you cannot predict. That fear will be your undoing. Zirak's eyes flared. You dare mock me? Not mock, Mara replied, a thin smile crossing her face. Inform. Humanity thrives where others fail. You taught us your rules. Now watch us rewrite them. With precision timing, Mara and her strike team hit the relay. Explosions tore through the command hub, cascading through the network of the Zereth fleet. Ships faltered, communications fractured, and coordinated attacks dissolved into confusion. The aliens' fear, instinctual, alien, and palpable, swept through their ranks. Every frigate, every cruiser, react independently. Mara's orders cut across comms. Exploit the chaos. We are humans. We improvise. We survive. The Zereth, formidable and disciplined, were undone not by numbers or firepower, but by unpredictability. They had no protocol for a foe that refused to conform. Every decision Mara made amplified the confusion, every maneuver turned their precision against them. From the bridge, Mara watched as the once intimidating fleet splintered, ships retreating in disarray. Her pilots, battered but alive, navigated the chaos with fearless ingenuity. Humanity's resolve was a weapon more potent than plasma, more deadly than their most advanced missiles. Captain, Kale said, awe in his voice. They're retreating, they're actually retreating. Mara didn't allow herself to celebrate, not yet. Temporary, she said. They'll recover. But they'll remember. They'll never underestimate humans again. The decrypted message pulsed again, this time highlighting the distant coordinates of an unknown faction. Allies in the shadows, watching, guiding humanity's hand. Whoever they were, they had chosen Earth, and Mara had chosen to act. Together, they had turned a desperate warning into victory. Across the galaxy, news feeds began to hum with chatter. Reports of a single message from Earth causing Zereth chaos spread like wildfire. Humans, they said, had reminded the galaxy that courage, audacity, and ingenuity were forces no empire could ignore. Mara allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. She had led, decided, and struck. She had faced betrayal, navigated chaos, and turned fear into advantage. And in doing so, she had carved humanity's name into the galactic consciousness. Yet, even as the Zereth retreated, Mara's mind was on the horizon. This isn't the end, she murmured. They'll come back. And next time, they'll be prepared. But we'll be ready too. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Humans fight. Kale, standing beside her, nodded. And they'll never take us for granted again. No, Mara agreed. Not ever. Because we are unpredictable. We are relentless. We are human. The stars beyond Saturn's rings gleamed, cold and indifferent, yet within that vast darkness, humanity had carved a mark. Not through dominance, but through the audacity to defy expectation, to turn chaos into strategy, to prove that survival demanded more than firepower, it demanded courage, creativity, and heart. And as the ardent horizon led the fleet back to Earth, battered but unbroken, Mara Kellen's mind already raced ahead. Plans, contingencies, alliances. The galaxy had witnessed the first human strike that mattered. The Zirith had underestimated them once. Humanity would ensure it never happened again. Because humans, she thought, were more than soldiers, more than pilots, more than a species. Humans were a force of nature, unpredictable, audacious, and unstoppable. And the galaxy, for the first time in centuries, would take notice.